Hi, and welcome to the show where we get to see something about this great collaboration. So if you're interested, stay tuned. We'll be right back. Hi, my name is Rebecca and I'm from Kangaroo Ridge Retreat. Welcome to Wednesday Winos, where we discuss and taste all things delicious from the Yarra Valley. And I'm here with...
I'm Ben from What's River Brewing, a small independent craft brewery in the Yarra Valley in Hillsville. And we're also joined by...
Hopped. We're Hopped. We're Sarah, John, Sarah, whichever way you want it. We're a hop on, hop off service for the Yarra Valley and also the Mornington Peninsula. And we're excited to be here.
Can't wait.
Oh, this is exciting. So tonight we have a really great show to share with everybody over Facebook. We're streaming over a couple of places at the moment. We're streaming via What's River Brewing, also Yarra Ranges Tourism, but also Kangaroo Ridge Retreat. So if you've got any questions to ask us, put it in the comments and we'll be able to answer them for you. But Sarah, John, would you like to introduce who we're actually talking with today?
Yes, definitely. So today is really exciting. I mean, we've had a lot of great guests on the show, but this week is extremely awesome, and you're very much looking forward to that, John, because he's a beer lover. So we are welcoming our first. So we've got two guests today. Our first guest is Jeremy, or Jez, I think, from White Rabbit. He's actually the head brewer at White Rabbit Brewing, and he has decades of brewing experience under his belt, and we're looking forward to hearing all about that collaboration between What's River and White Rabbit. It'd be awesome. And then we've got a second guest, but I think we'll get back to that, right?
Yep. And Ben, so tell us a little bit about how we're connected to What's White Rabbit, because it's quite a connection there.
Yeah, well, you're dropping out a bit there, so I'll jump in. So the connection is that I worked for White Rabbit pretty much the entire time it was in Hillsville. And Jez became my boss there and became a really good mate. And so as most people know, some out there might not, White Rabbit was based in Hillsville, which is where What's River is now. And then they moved to Geelong about 5 years ago, I think. And then that's when Aaron and I left White Rabbit and set up What's River. But we still really get along with our old colleagues, particularly Jez. It's a good mate, so it's good to see him.
Welcome.
Welcome, Jez.
Hello. I take it I'm there now.
Yeah.
You're there.
Sorry, we have to get through the intro. Sorry. Hello.
Hello, and thank you for inviting me along.
Thank you. So tell us a little bit about the collaboration beer. Where's it coming from and the history behind it? What we're drinking. Yeah, tell us about what we're drinking.
Yeah, it's an interesting beer. It's probably, I would say, the third year, Ben, maybe, that we've sort of done a collaboration. And it started off both of our breweries doing some interesting barrel aging with some wild yeast and bacteria. And then we just basically selected some beers. We moved the barrels from Geelong out to Watts River. And then the guys blended the beer to taste, the lovely taste. I didn't actually get to try it till tonight for the first time.
Wow.
So Ben could probably tell us a lot more about how the blend came together.
Yes.
But,
well, Aaron, like the other brewer, Watts River, he went down to Geelong and there was some tasting going on there. And basically the base of the beer is Belgian inspired golden ale, I think, from your end, Jeremy. You probably know more about that. I can talk.
Yeah, I guess let's start at the start. So we knew we were going to be doing this beer together. And at White Rabbit, we had done a previous brew that was intended to be something else that didn't really materialize. But as we like to do, we just snaffled some of it aside into barrels. And that was a Belgian-inspired golden ale, a strong golden ale. And I think originally we were going to do this beer for Good Beer Week, but back in May. And I remember being a little bit worried about the beer, to be honest, in barrel. It wasn't terribly exciting. So I guess with the COVID, everything got delayed. So the beer from our end got to spend an extra 6 months or thereabouts in barrel, and really got to, came together and got some really lovely funky characters. And so we were happy enough with that beer, and Aaron had a bit of a taste, and so I think it felt like a beer that could really hold the middle together of a beer. Had a little bit of sweetness, a bit of tartness, and a bit of funk. Wasn't ridiculously over the top, and so I knew that Ben and Aaron had had some really interesting beers that they could blend into it to really lift it and create something really interesting.
Yeah, so our half of it was actually, so there was more of your beer in there than your barrel stuff than ours, but ours was a lot more punchy, so it kind of got blended out proportionally to like flavour. So ours was, it was put in barrel on 26th of April 2017, so it was getting on a bit. And I was just looking through the tasting notes of when we tasted the barrel, and it didn't start off too good. So, I'll go with the initial comments from the first time we tasted it, which was September 2017. Monoxidized malt character, give more time for Brett to work, maybe pitch some Brett to improve it. Then the next time we tasted in 2018, it was like less oxidized, bit tannic. Give it a bit more time. And then when we tasted it in 2019, really developed. So we were getting apricot, hints of pineapple, and it really really lifted its game. So that was, which we find with our barrels. Like sometimes we leave them and they just go to you dump them, but other times, like, we always write whether there's potential or not when we're tasting them. So if we think it's just not going to come good, like if you get like nail polish or something, we'll dump it. But this one always had potential. We were a little worried about it, but it came good, and I think it was a good blend to match with your barrel stuff, Jez. But to freshen it up with this beer, we also added some like fresh beer as well. So just to brighten it up a little bit and balance it out. So so it's a three-way blend, like lots of White Rabbit's barrels, a bit of our punchy barrel, and some fresh beer of ours to brighten it up a little. And I think it's really come together really well. And as we found we've done a barrel blend with White Rabbit before, I think it improved both of the barrel beers by blending it together. White Rabbit's direction is a bit different to ours, and so, but they just merge together really, really well and make a good collaboration and a true collaboration. So it's not just us or just them. It's really a team effort between the breweries.
So we've got a question from one of our viewers, and they are asking us if there's any sort of rule book when it comes to mixing beers.
It's got to take.
I'd like to know.
No, give it a shot and see how it comes out. Is a good rule of thumb, but like obvious, and it depends on everyone's palate. Like I don't like hops and dark, like generally, so I wouldn't mix an IPA with a stout. But some people might like that, so it depends on what you're after. But just blend. Like when we have our cellar door open, like we actually put blends on, like a recommended blend on our chalkboard. But we encourage people to say, can I have a bit of this and a bit of that? And encourage people to think about how different beers can be blended together. It's fun.
Yeah. It's a key bit, Ben. Just have some fun with it. Definitely no rules. And I know, like, for instance, with this beer that we made, the beer that I had in barrel out at White Rabbit, it was a nice little beer, but it was just, I don't know, it didn't feel like it was complete. And so the blending process that we would have gone through there was to add elements to just balance the beer. So ours had quite a bit of sweetness to it. And so that's where the Brett influenced beers from Ben and Aaron will just help to cut through some of that sort of sweetness there. So that's the sort of, as Ben said, have some fun with it, but you can also look to blend to, basically flavour the beer. If it's too sweet, you can cut it down, or if it's too dry, you can sweeten it up, depending on what you're trying to achieve.
Yeah, for sure.
I absolutely love this beer, guys. I think it's fantastic. I'm not a massive sour fan, and that's why this is really nice. It's got a bit of sourness to it, but not too much. Then I get that pineapple, like you've been saying there, berry. Really, just a fantastic beer for me. You mentioned about the previous collaborations you had. Out of all the collaborations, how does this kind of match? How does it rate? Do you kind of have like a bit of a scoreboard going, like in-house scoreboard?
I could give you a ranking, but everyone will disagree with me. So, this one's right up there. Like I think our barrel blends have been the best. So we've done 3 collaborations. And they're all supposed to be around Good Beer Week. We've done, started off a few years ago. We did a collaboration, then thought, why not do it again? Do it again. So it looks like it's an annual event now, which we love doing. I reckon our last barrel blend was one of the best beers that have come out of either of our breweries. It was super good. This one's right up there, but I'd probably rank the last one slightly better. But
I'm reckoning you'll probably change your mind next year when you think about what's happening next year, and you'll get like a little bit more, because this one, it's actually quite unique as well, because there's a bigger collaboration, not just with White Rabbit and What's River, and because it's also about the artwork, and a lot of the craft beer that we feature on Wednesday Winos, it has quite unique artwork as well. So, Jeremy, what is tell us about the artwork, and we've got a special second guest arriving, and we can actually talk a little bit more in depth about it. But at least introduce us to the art.
The second guest might have some insight into it a bit more than I do, but I guess originally talking in our team at White Rabbit, the suggestion came up that we incorporate an artist from out in the Yarra Valley as well to accompany the beer. And I've personally known Jenny's work for a long time. Ben and Hannah probably have as well. And it was just, it was one of those things that I just thought, Jenny does some really interesting stuff. Oh, I've given it all away, haven't I?
No.
You haven't given away a last name yet.
No, not yet.
So that was the idea, just to really get someone, previous versions of beers that we've done at White Rabbit and the collaborations, I've used an artist to do the illustrations or characters that we've had in on a few of those. And we just thought we'd take a different approach this time and use someone from out in the Yarra Valley. So we thought we'd just ask this particular person if they could do it. And look, honestly, I don't know too much about the detail of the art or what the brief was. So, but I was pretty chuffed. I like it. It's very different. And so that's really cool.
So, Sarah and John, you want to give a little intro while I pop
Jeremy
up and bring in our second guest?
Definitely. So I guess for anyone that hasn't seen the label yet, I'll put it in the camera. So, this is the one we're talking about. And the secret guest, oh my God, we've made so much hype about this, is Jenny Reddin. So welcome, Jenny. I don't know if she can hear me or not, but we've had some technical issues. So I'm just going to give a little intro.
She can hear us.
Hey.
Welcome, Jenny.
So Jenny is an artist, a contemporary abstract artist from Healesville. So she's done this amazing artwork, and Beck was saying that there has been a controversial show that some of you might recognize her from, which is called Stupid Man. Is that right? Stupid Man?
Yes.
Yes, that's the one. So there you go. There is Jenny. Welcome, Jenny. Thank you for joining us at Wednesday Winers. And I can't wait to hear about the backstory of this this beautiful label.
Thank you. Well, this is the actual artwork. This is the original, which is slightly bigger than the label, as you will see.
Just a little.
It's really exciting to be invited to do the label for this collaboration, because collaborations in themselves have double the energy of, the sole operator being out there generating things. So to be part of the collaboration process was really, really exciting. And to be working with people who are producing really good quality, really interesting produce that, comes from the Yarra Valley, really, really it does, because Jeremy started in the Yarra Valley, so therefore we claim him. And it was very exciting to be invited to produce the label, and that's it. That's it. So what I was looking to do with the artwork was I wanted it to represent the collaboration. So there's a duality in the piece. There's a symmetry in the work, and the colour I chose is Australian red gold, which to me it has a beer flavour to it. But in addition to that, there's a alizarin crimson running through the piece as well, which is about the collaboration. It's about the energy that's created by a collaboration. And the piece is actually called What White Rabbit. I can't really feel that in it. That doesn't matter. It's about what the work represents more than what the title means.
I reckon it's great. It's like the best beer label we've had as a collaboration by far. It's really good, and just changes. Just really on the shelf. It just puts it out there. Just like makes it. As you said, it's like looks like a collaboration beer, and really fits in with what we were doing with the beer. So really good job.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Thank you.
You can also see some of Jenny's art in our cabins. We feature your art in both our cabins actually, and they always get commented on guests. And I think I nearly sold one time. Still trying to, but they get often the striking process that goes in with I guess it would be interesting. What is your process, Jenny, in doing your art? Because they're very striking paintings. And
thank you. So we'll have the Yarra Valley Arts is putting on a virtual open studios in the next couple of months. So if people are interested get on board with that as well. That'll be really interesting to see all of the artists in the Yarra Valley, all the people who are involved in Yarra Valley art. So that will be great.
So so usually when we have our show, we'll cut forward a bit for you. We talk about having a positive experience so that we can actually leave on a high note, and then we can So what was your high note of the past week, Jenny?
You're breaking up, Rebecca. I'm sorry, I didn't hear any of that.
That's okay. We just wanted to thank you. Anyway, we'll move on, and thank you so much for joining us on Wednesday Winos. Thank you. If you can see
it's the rain in everywhere in Melbourne right now. It's breaking
up. The Yarra Valley internet.
Yeah.
So
thank you, Jenny.
Thank you, Jenny.
Bye-bye. Thank you for having me. Thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, you cut her up.
No, it was a bit of both. Sorry.
That's amazing. I think it's just so incredible how that collaboration, is so key, and especially it was big before COVID, but even now, it's even more that, collaboration is key, and it's so important to work with each other and, push each other to sort of new limits and just see what you can do. I really like that. So well done for getting someone, local to design the label and for getting together and doing that.
Yeah, there's definitely been there was a good sense of community out in the Yarra Valley beforehand, but now it's just been really emphasized during lockdowns and whatnot. We really want to support each other and push each other, or push other people to other brands around the Yarra Valley and Victoria or whatever. So I found that everyone's just looking out for other businesses, and
definitely
which we try to help. We try to push people towards other businesses, and they push people towards us. So it's been quite.
We had a bit of we had some comments saying Ryan actually commented on last year's label saying
the thin chicken was good. I've got to say thin chicken was good, but I think this year's is
I got to see that.
It's really quite different.
They're totally different direction, obviously, but
but Hayley reckons it's the best label so far. So
Not that I can do it because I've completely finished the bottle already.
Oh my gosh!
Brilliant, it's great stuff.
I should have given you 2. Sorry.
It's also 7.5%. But can you cellar it? What's the what would you?
Yeah, for sure. It's going to change. It'd be a bit hard to predict which way it'd go because there's Brett still in there. The Brett will probably take over more than anything else at this stage, I would guess. But Jez might have more to say about that. So you might get some more Britannomyces characters. But the only actual Brett is natural Brett, because this was our base beer was actually the barrel was a repitch from our original spontaneous ferment, which we did, and then we repitched from that barrel into the barrel that went into this beer. So it's like a second generation spontaneous. So we haven't actually bought any cultures for our barrel that went into it, so that's where you get some quite slightly unpredictable, but can get predictable if you do it the same every time of the year. So the Brett in there's Brett everywhere, so there's going to be Brett in there, and it will take over, and that's where the pineapple-y stuff would come from most likely. So you get more, but they'll probably go more other flavors Brett, I would guess. But a good way to find out is to leave it in your cellar,
not drink it or
So Gavin was asking whether about it, if there was is there plans for aging another keg? So and
age a keg of this.
Another keg,
So another barrel. So I think we've keg like, I can't remember. I think it was 3 kegs for us and 3 kegs for White Rabbit.
Mhm.
So originally the plan was to have an event around Good Beer Week, which was incorporated this beer. It was probably, I think it was going to be at our venue again this year, but in early talks, but maybe at White Rabbit. But we've also got a keg of the other barrel blend and a keg of the other collaboration we did. So we were going to serve like all 3 beers on the one day, the 3 collaborations. But didn't happen. So we'll definitely make sure there's a keg of this aside.
Yes.
Those others will still be there. The one which isn't live, or it might struggle a bit with the age, but I reckon the barrel ones and what we come up with next year, if we're allowed to have an event, we might have 4 collaborations on the one day. And
Well, just make sure you let Gavin know because he's keen.
keep an eye on the Facebook pages.
Definitely. Keep follow us and everyone. So, I just want to shout out to our viewers who are watching right now. If you've just tuned in, we're talking with Watts River and also White Rabbit Brewery to actually talk about the collaboration beer, but also we're talking about 2 other beers, one that's to be released, and also one of the house beers from Watts River Brewing. So, shall we try the next one? Which one's on next?
I think we should do Jez's the sour red next, I reckon, because it's probably more similar to this beer. So, and then we can kind of change directions.
Ease into the stout.
Ease into the stout. Yeah.
Sure.
So I haven't actually tasted this yet. So,
No, I was waiting. It was limited supply. Check. Is that the stout or is it the red?
No, it's the red.
This is the red, yeah.
It's a deep red color.
So just to confirm, this White Rabbit Sour Red that we're tasting right now hasn't been released yet?
It's on its way to being released. So it is in warehouses, just awaiting retailers to pick it up. So it shouldn't be too far off.
So no firm date.
No. Someone, I was just trying to look at my laptop. Someone had sent me some details. Thank you, Ryan Loft. I didn't actually look at it.
You would know. You can put a comment on. So
yeah, Lofty, you're there. But it shouldn't be. I would imagine in the next couple of weeks, it should be available.
Oh, wow.
So this beer, so it's pretty. I mean, as it says on the label, sour red. It's hopefully got a reddish colour to it, which it looks great there, Becky. Yeah. This is actually a beer that really started, I guess, in its infancy when we were still at Hillsville, and we were just playing around a little bit on the sides with some barrel stuff. And when we moved to Geelong, we decided to expand the whole barrel program, and the focus that we took was kind of instead of having hundreds and hundreds of different barrels with all sorts of random things, we were like, well, let's see if we can make a beer and keep it, continuously making it and keep quality consistent and have it going all the time. So we're really focused on just all of the barrels in the brewery. We're just around making this one particular beer, which is kind of a nice storyline in the way, because when Ben and I were at White Rabbit in the very, very early days, the tagline was a brewery made to make one beer. I don't know if you remember that, Ben.
I do remember that. I knew it wasn't going to last. So we've been basically making this beer just as White Rabbit Red Ale, and we were releasing it in the 750ml bottles, a very, very limited release year-round for the last 4 or 5 years. Then we've taken a little bit of a hiatus on making the beer for the last 9 months. We installed 7 big oak vats, and what we've done is basically
aged this beer for 9 months in those new oak vats and released it as a kind of a job lot, if you will, and put it in cans for the first time with some exciting, where's my camera?
Yeah.
Some exciting, cool artwork. Becky, you should be the art director there. Look at that.
For some reason, my internet connection is working. I don't want to jinx it right now.
Yeah, don't talk about it.
So I guess the gist of the beer is it was styled upon one of my favourite beers around Rodenbach in a Flanders Red sort of style. And we essentially barrel age a portion of it with a sort of a mixed culture that we have, or several mixed cultures that we've developed over the years, and allow it was a bit over 9 months aging in the barrel. Oh, there's some feedback.
Sorry, that was me.
So it was I think a bit over 9 months in some pretty much brand spanking new oak vats, 1,200 litre vats. And then once we take the aged beer out and then add it back in at about a rate of 30% into the same beer, but a fresh version. So not dissimilar to the collaboration where we've used that fresh element there just to lift it and just work with the developing the balance of the beer and making it a little bit more approachable, because it can be pretty full on straight out of the barrel. And particularly with brand new oak, the oak character really comes through. So I'm interested in watching this one as the barrels age over the years and the culture really sets in there, because the previous versions of the beer, we had barrels that were all donated from wineries, and they had the different regions and different wines in them, and they've been some of them we'd had around since 2013, 2014. Again, Ben, I don't know if you remember the first delivery we got, the barrels from Stonia. That was an exciting time back in the day. So we've still got some of those barrels from 6 years ago or whatever it is, and but just changing the philosophy a little bit and moving away from those smaller barrels. So,
that sounds awfully fun to me. Like having new barrels and like kind of inoculating them with your own cultures and stuff.
Jinx it.
It's going. Just keep going.
So it sounds really fun with your new big barrels, which I got to see briefly when I was there at some point. But I'm not particularly picking up a lot of oak, so I would have almost expected more from a new barrel. But it's good. You've done
when we had the barrels manufactured, because I'd had previous experience of putting beer in brand spanking new oak, and you find that oak character, when a barrel's been made with the intention of wine aging in it, but you put beer in it, it can really, the only way I could describe it is a mouthful of splinters, basically. And we didn't want that. So when we had these barrels manufactured, I actually spoke to the cooperage about how they prepared the barrels, and so we went for a really sort of a low toast option to try and minimize some of that oak just smashing you in the face. So that way we could have the beer available a lot sooner. I imagine we would have needed probably 3 or 4 years of flushing beer through it before we'd actually get something drinkable out of it, and then start looking at the culture. Whereas by doing it this way, we've just been able to focus purely on getting the culture in there and working on that.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, it's really is quite light. It's quite fresh. It's tarty cherries, bit of red wine in there.
Mm-hmm.
Did you consciously make this to kind of appeal to the wine lovers and even cider kind of followers?
I don't think I consciously thought about winemakers or cider drinkers when making it, but certainly wanted to, at the time that we started making this, sours were sort of going the same way as IPAs, where it seemed to be they were getting more and more bitter. These sours are getting more and more sour. So, we wanted to make something that was drinkable. And so again, about that balance. So, the complexity from the barrel part and, the wild culture, that's all real. But at the same time, we wanted to package it up in something that, if you wanted to, you could just enjoy it, like our dark ale or our white ale, where there's a layers of complexity, but at the same time, you can just sit back and drink it and not think too much about it.
Yeah, for sure.
We probably should explain a bit of a difference between sour beers too. So there's kind of two broad categories. There's like quick soured and slow soured, I suppose, and they're quite different processes. So there's quick soured, which are kettle soured. So you add a bacteria into the kettle. Only takes, I know, Jez, you do these two. They're I think overnight basically for us. And then you boil it up and kill this so it doesn't get any more sour. Then there's the slow stuff which you can do in tank and barrel, but a lot of them are done in barrel. So it's like inoculating your ferment it out with yeast and have sour cultures in there at some point. And the cultures work really, really slowly. And they generally, if you do it slow soured, takes a long time, or various amounts of time, but a long time compared to a quick sour. But you get more complex flavors and more balanced flavors, I find. So they're the preferred sour flavor for me. Preferred sour beers. There's some really good traditional examples out of Belgian, but there's some really good New World ones too. So there's two kind of streams of sour. And
like what you said before, Ben, that the excitement of those slower ones, that they go through peaks and troughs, and sometimes it might look like a pair of dirty socks or something like that, and then it comes through that, and these incredible flavors and aromas just come out of it. Whereas with the quick sour, it's pretty much set right there, and there's not really any more evolution of that flavor much. And just to be, this sour red is actually a blend of both methods. So.
Yeah, which you can do. You can blend everything.
This one has, when you smell the smell of it, it's quite, I don't know if it's floral. I don't know if that's the right word to say. It doesn't have a full beer taste, like flavor, like smell that hits you in the face that I would expect from a red ale or, or actually if you compare it to the collab, this one's quite, I'm trying to think of the word where it's quite, the flavors are quite delicate and this one's quite strong. So
yeah, absolutely.
How is that from the barrels? What's that from?
Given that it's only 30% from the barrel, so that really full-on character that you're getting in the collab beer, which is all that is just pure aged barrel. This one it's pulled back. It's quite subdued, so you get the freshness from the new beer coming through, and I don't know, sort of cherry cola character, the slight sweetness, and then you mentioned already the sort of sour cherry as well. Sort of a sweet fruity character on the nose, and a lot of that comes from the esters from the yeast that we use in that fresh portion. And so where with this one, it's essentially you're seasoning the fresh beer with the aged stuff just to give it a little bit of cut through or a bit of interest, which is very different from the collab beer, which was about just taking different extreme components in a way and melding them into a whole.
Yeah. It's definitely a drink I could see myself in once we're allowed back out into the pubs, in the beer garden on a hot day, having a nice pint of this.
I think Jez is allowed to go out to the pub, are you?
Yeah.
I believe we are.
Let's not talk about it, John.
Yeah, you suck.
John will have a breakdown if he hears that anyone's going to the pub. I think, what, it's been like 7 months or something? You haven't been to a pub?
Too long.
I think Ryan was telling everyone that if you want to, I think when it's going to be released, I think that's referring to the end of
Yeah,
the week.
it's by the end of the week.
Yep. So if anyone's interested, it will be available at the end of the week.
Yeah, it is really yummy. And I'm not a beer, I said this last time, I'm not a beer drinker. I reckon I'm going to be converted to a beer drinker after all this beer drinking. But I really like this one. I'm happy to drink that. So
There's a beer for everyone.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not happy about being happy.
So that's what we find. So that's a good point. Like we find when we do our Brett beers, so we've got a Brett Pale Ale, which is we pretty much have available all the time. We don't really push it because it takes so much for us to, it takes 6 months in tank to make. So we don't really push it, but it's always pretty much always available. And if so-called non-beer drinkers come in, we say, try this. It's like really low IBUs. So a lot of beer drinkers, non-beer drinkers don't like bitterness, for example. So if you take the bitterness out and switch it out with a bit of Brett or sour stuff,
totally.
So it depends why they don't like beer, but there's a beer for everyone.
It sure is. And I think Peter is saying pub. What is that?
Yeah. We'll get there. We'll all catch up and have a beer.
Yes.
Once again, if you've just joined us on Wednesday Winos, we're tasting a lot of beers. We're talking about the collaboration between White Rabbit and also Watts River Brewing. We just tasted the collab beer, but we also just went through the White Rabbit Reds, the Sour Red, and we're moving on to one of the house beers from Watts River Brewing.
One more thing before we move on. So, Jez, where's the best spot to get your beers in these times? Pretty much available everywhere. Are the Reds
in the pub? Oh,
at the pub. Drive through. Is a beer like your Red available as widely as, say, your white ale or your dark ale?
I believe it should be fairly widely available, Ben. Yeah.
Right. Hopefully, we'll keep an eye out for it.
No,
he's a brewer, Ben. He's not the logistics guy.
I know. I like putting him on the spot. It makes.
That one and move on to the next one. So, Jen, I'm keen to hear what to think of the Stout from Watts River Brewing. One of my favourites. So I'm drinking it straight out of the bottle. So.
Yeah, I think we've run out of glasses as well.
I've run out of glasses. I haven't put the dishwasher on for a couple of days, so no glasses.
So our Stout.
Yep. Go ahead.
Pretty much. Yeah, it's a dry roasty Stout. We put a little bit of smoke malt in there. Yeah, mocha, roasty, smoky flavors. Pretty easy drinking for a Stout. Like a lot of people say, a Stout should be drinking in winter and not in summer, but this one's dry and really drinkable. So drink it all year round. Pretty, straight up recipe. The base of this recipe I kind of came up with like 10 years ago. Aaron's had his inputs, which has really improved it as well. But I can let's just put the recipe up for those home brewers out there.
Oh my gosh, I can't see that.
Quickly, everyone take a photo.
So there's it. So basically it's got, just some of our, most of the year we use our own malt off the farm. And then we use just a bit of smoke malt in there, some Golden Acre oats, which Jeremy would be familiar with, was we kind of all loved them when we were at Rabbit. I think it was Zach.
It's a rule. Yeah.
I think Zach put us onto that. Then just like a 50-50 for the roastiness, a 50-50 blend of smoked malt and smoked barley. So it's a pretty simple recipe. We like our beers dry. And a really good, clean, simple stout with a bit of smoke.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Bloody love it, Sarah.
You love it. Well, there's no surprise there. There is no beer he doesn't love. Um,
What do you think, Sarah?
I felt like there was a hint of coffee. Is that
Yeah.
correct?
So there's actually not coffee in there, but because the way they roast malt is basically the same way they roast coffee.
Right.
And you get those sugar Maillard reactions, they call them, where you're basically cooking, burning sugar. It's the same. So that's where the crossover is, even though we haven't added coffee to it. But the process to create the roasted malt is pretty much very similar to roasting coffee.
Yeah.
So that's where you get those flavors from. And I definitely agree. So that's why, mocha flavors, coffee flavors, they're definitely in there. And that's from the roasted barley and the roasted malt.
I love it. It's not too, like, I'll have some stouts which are really heavy. This is not heavy at all.
Yeah.
It's nice and light. It's live in your mouth. It really is very nice.
So from our point of view, we don't like sweet beers as a general rule of thumb at Watts River. So we don't make sweet beers. And a lot of stouts in particular are way too sweet for my palate. But it's personal choice. So there's no
Right or wrong.
You can't say that stout's too sweet, because some people like sweet beers. But so it's all. But I think the portion of particularly craft beer stouts, there's a really high amount of craft beer stouts which are really high in sweetness, whereas we've just gone the other direction and made it dry.
Yeah.
Made it really easy, like just sit back, have a beer.
What do you think, Jeremy? What's your take on the stout?
I love it. I love stout in general. It's always been a style that I've really liked, and I've definitely seen Ben's stouts over the years, and we tinkered around with a few back in the day at Hillsville and White Rabbit, and I've always liked this beer. It's really enjoyable. So no, it's really good. You have to do an extra smoke version one day, Ben, for me.
Yeah, we should. We could do that as next year's collab.
I'm happy to be a taster.
Oh,
I'll come to the brewery.
Yeah, I reckon I'm not. Yeah, I kind of on the same. That's a good idea, Jeremy. Maybe we could do an extra smoke.
oh, there you go. It's a platform.
So are we agreeing to me being a taster?
No, we're not agreeing. It's a platform of collaboration that was just born. So
Yeah.
awesome.
You know, tasters are still part of the club.
All right, you can be a taster.
Quality testers. Yeah.
Quality. This is awesome. Yeah, no, well done. Yeah, even I could drink that as well. So yeah, nice.
This is not good.
No, it's not good for you.
Do we have any? So, how can you get this, Ben? If you want to try this out, how can you get it?
Well, like all the beers we talked about, we've got an online shop, so it's in shutdown. So we're delivering at the moment to Greater Melbourne and Geelong. So we deliver every week to Geelong and Greater Melbourne and the Yarra Valley on Thursdays. So if you get your order in by midnight off on our website on Wednesday night, we will deliver. So we're heading down to Geelong tomorrow for those Geelong viewers. And so Geelong's actually been a really good market for us and we didn't really realise before lockdown.
Thanks, Geelong.
Yeah, so thank you, Geelong.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
What about you, Jeremy? Where can we get? Well, we did kind of ask.
You're going to ask me that again.
Test you. Maybe we should bring up Ryan if he can talk about it. Where can we actually get that?
The collaboration is White Rabbit. I'm pretty sure on their Facebook page put a post up on where you can get the collaboration out of Victoria. So they listed some bars or bottle shops in New South Wales, South Australia, and WA. Lochte will be able to correct me on that. So for interstate people that want the collaboration, there are a few options, but very limited, and that's all through White Rabbit's distribution. Or you can order from the Watts River website, and we can post it, but postage can be
painful.
Can be exy and slow in lockdown.
Sorry, Melbourne is a bit delayed at the moment.
I ordered some sticky tape, and it took nearly a month to get some in Australia. It turned up yesterday.
Ryan's off checking out where we can get the red ale, so we'll see in a second. So yeah, do you have any shameless plugs? Hop it. I'll say hop it together.
Shameless plugs. No. Well, I mean, you know, it's things are starting to lift again in terms of restrictions. So hopefully at some point in time we can operate again. I'll hop on, hop off in Yarra Valley and Mornington. But yeah, we're keeping a close eye on it. So
and the beauty of the service, it's not a wine tour. It's a wine, beer, culture. It's everything put together. So you can visit these wine regions via our hop on, hop off service.
Or you can even get off at Healesville and you go to the Yarra Valley Arts Centre if you wanted to, and you can have a look at some art there as well. So
go to Watts River Brewery, have a beer, 4 Pillars gin, everything. Yeah. That's our plug.
There you go. What's your plug?
You do a great service. Like you're really offering a service that wasn't available before you guys came into the market, and then you got shut down, and
everyone's devastated alongside you.
Yeah, everyone's devastated, and I'm just really impressed with the way you've diversified in lockdown and done what you've done, and I'm really looking forward to having you guys back in the Yarra Valley, and
can't wait
bringing people to us like you. It's like businesses like yours that really help our business, so we're thankful.
Thank
Definitely.
you.
Thanks, mate. Thank you.
So Ryan just got back with us. This is going to be an interesting one when I actually show it up on the screen, because it's huge. Okay, so if you were looking for the sour red, these are the stockists. I don't think you can.
That's the Watts Rabbit, not the sour red. That's the Watts Rabbit.
You're going to have to check out the comments feed on there, but actually what we'll do is we'll post it. When we repost this, we'll put all the different places that it's listed. It's not just Melbourne, it's also New South Wales. You've got La La La's in Wollongong in New South Wales, Berry Bottle Shop in Berry, New South Wales, Celebrations in Adamstown, New South Wales, Main Liquor in Belmont, Western Australia, Best at West Leaderville, Western Australia, Copper and Oak, Tuart Hill. I'm sorry I mispronounced that. That's in Western Australia. Pardon?
My fridge.
We've got Brewhouse Brisbane. If you're interested in Brisbane, Brewhouse Brisbane, they've got it, and in Wollongabba. And of course, if you're friends with Ryan, check out his fridge. So,
Thanks for posting that, Lofty.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for letting us know where that was. The other thing, my shameless plug. We're hoping to open up sooner rather than later. So if you're keen on actually staying somewhere kind of unique, keep alert on our socials or sign up onto our what do you call it? Our newsletter. That would be it, and we will actually be able to let you know straight away when we know what availabilities we have. And 7.5. Yeah, that was me. That's my shameless plug. But because we're coming to the end of the show, we've gone really, really, we've gone way over time, but it's been a fantastic with the three.
Do I get to do a shameless plug?
Oh, yes, sorry. There's 4 of them. Go ahead, shameless plug.
Anyway, it's not for me. It's so we've been doing Friday night takeaways when we do live music, we order food in, and we've had some amazing Peking duck from the Healesville Hotel, which they're still doing. So get that; it is awesome. And then last Friday we got Japanese from the Watts River Cafe, which they're doing from no relationship to What's River Brewing, but they are doing like, I think they've traditionally just done lunchtimes and stuff, but they're doing evenings from Thursday to Sunday, and we got it last Friday night, and it was awesome. They were so good. So anyone in Hillsville, get on board those two things, because they've been totally amazing. My Little Kitchen delivers for lunch too. Is the other one, and their food's so which we've been doing. So just throwing out to a few local businesses which are doing great food, and it's awesome. So,
if anyone needs any food recommendations, just email ben@whatsriverbrewing.com.au.
yeah, thanks for that.
Little lunchtime pick.
Maybe I'll be a food critic. I'm changing career during lockdown.
Yeah, quickly, because Ben didn't really plug himself. Sounds terrible. But basically, you need to go to What's River Brewery. It's amazing up there. They do live music on the Friday, which we can't wait to go and see that. And also the smell in there. Like, I went in there this morning, the smell was phenomenal. What was that smell from, Ben?
We have actually diversified a little bit in lockdown. So we've got a still in, or kind of two stills in. So we've got a reflux still for doing like vodkas and stuff. And today I was actually distilling for our first whiskey. So,
That's pretty exciting.
So keep your ears out in a couple of years' time. And
that flashback to the Wednesday Wino show.
Yeah, that's it. So
We'll be there.
But it's, we're a bit new to the distilling game, but one of our other passions about really enjoying some good drinks is whiskey, and particularly like what we were doing today is a peat smoke whiskey. So it's going to be, it's fun, but it's going to hopefully be good.
Smell was phenomenal.
Great.
We'll see. All right. Thank you, Ben, for your shameless plug. And final bit to close out the show, your positive for the last week, just so we end on a high note.
Is that me?
Yeah. That with you, so don't forget.
Well, this week, yesterday, my younger brother, John, delivered 32 ton of barley to Voyager malt, actually, to get made into malt for our beer. So,
wow.
I don't know if people know out there that we get barley from the farm I grew up on. It's been in the family for over 100 years, and most of the malt that goes into a beer overall, like sometimes small percentage, most of the time a large percentage, comes from the family farm. So 32 ton dropped off. We'll get it back once it's malted and make some delicious beer.
That's awesome.
Cool.
Jeremy, what's your fabulous leaving?
I just had one quick. I've got to get in on the shameless plug thing as well. While everyone's out looking for their sour red, we also have another beer called Golden Sour coming out roughly around the same time. So look out for that one too. It's a pretty cool beer. It's very much a very different take on it. A very hoppy, very, very hoppy beer in a sour style. So that's coming too. Thank you, Lofty. Lofty's got it sporting a Lofty's got a lovely new mullet that I saw today on a catch up, which is the envy, my envy. I'll definitely be rocking a mullet next week, I think. So that's right. I was thinking about the good things in life and what was exciting, and there was a bunch of things going through my head, but certainly Lofty's mullet really made my day. So put it out to the young fella. Thanks, buddy.
That's awesome. For us, I think it's been really nice seeing sort of the excitement in the valley. That's where we've been sort of doing some other stuff during lockdown. But it's been really exciting seeing that sort of, venues are starting to do some renos. They're getting the chairs back down. They're starting to clean things. They're starting to get ready. Like, you can just feel it in the air. And that was really
spring as well. The vines are starting to, the leaves are coming up. And just the color is there. The lambs are running around.
Yeah, it's really beautiful to see, and it's very like everyone's really excited to start slowly opening up, and can't wait to welcome everyone
The
back.
Yarra Valley's ready for all of us, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Beck?
I was all distracted by all your good stories, so I've lost my train of thought. So I was
Have you got another mullet one?
sorry.
Is it another mullet one, or is?
I'm almost growing a mullet.
Yeah, good try.
I cut my hair right at the beginning of lockdown, and now I've actually discovered that I have curly hair, and I'm sharing the same hairstyle as my grandmother. So
Is that your positive for the week?
it's actually not too bad because she styles it, I think, after Marilyn Monroe. So you see a 93 woman with a Marilyn Monroe hairstyle. That's my Oma. So, but yeah, no, but I wanted to actually say we've always tried to get the next week going for Wednesday Winos. So I might actually say thank you, Jeremy. Stay on the line. I'm just going to pop you off and show what we have for next week, because we have prepared for next week. So thank you so much for joining us on Wednesday Winos, and
Thank you all.
In a fortnight, isn't it?
Thanks, Jeremy.
sorry, not next week, next in a fortnight. Yeah, so in a fortnight. Sorry. So thank you, Jeremy. So in 2 weeks' time, we have we're going to be having Pimpernel Vineyards again. We're going to have Damien Archibald, the winemaker there, and because it's a bit of a light at the end of the tunnel, in 2 weeks' time, we may be coming close out of coming out of lockdown. We've got the Chenin Blanc, so look out for that. And so it's a very delicious wine, one of my favorite.
And
It's going to be good.
Can I add to that? We will be celebrating John's birthday on the 14th of October. So
the birthday special.
Birthday. All right, the birthday special.
Birthday special next week. So looking forward to it. Awesome.
I'll pick another one of these, Ben.
That boy down. All right. All right. Well, thank you very much, and to everyone else. Sorry.
I'll throw one your way.
All right.
Cheers.
So everyone, let's finish the show. Thank you so much for joining in. It's been a fantastic evening. It was really great with Jenny and Jeremy for the What's Rabbit collaboration, and have a lovely evening. See you in 2 weeks when we're with him now. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. See ya. Have a good night.